So I
Correct.
like that accountability part. I'm glad you brought that into there. All right. So, in what ways can a coach step into a mentoring role for boys who may not have consistent leadership at home?
Oh man, that's a good question. A lot of ways. I mean, there are certain things that coaches do, uh, relationship building with their
Hmm.
team. Uh, Tell them how to, develop social skills.
Yeah.
How to interact. In a group where you have to be, responsible for your role.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, and have a certain accountability and trust. That's that word again.
Yeah.
Because all of us, we don't go through life doing this thing by ourselves.
Correct.
We need other people. Believe it or not, we have to have to interact or trust or work with other people. So as a coach helps develop that kid or that young individual into a person that, okay, like you said earlier, here's my role and how does my role fit in with this team,
Hmm.
and then how we work together.
Yeah.
And then one thing that I learned back, in college, with my fraternity brothers, we used to sit around and talk a lot. Is a lot of education, okay, and teamwork is
Hmm.
about problem solving.
I
You know
agree.
what I'm saying?
I agree.
And as a coach, you want to put, young men and young women in situations to where they have to problem solve and it be organic and they
Hmm.
have to find the answers for themselves.
I like that.
So as a good coach, you don't always want to give them the answers.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's kind of like a parent with a child. You want to help them sometime, but at the same time, don't help them too much because you want them to organically be able to problem solve and find answers.
Yeah.
Same thing with a coach.
Yeah, and it's like if they don't have that skill set, it's gonna hurt them later on in life, or they
Absolutely.
got to figure it out later on. But there's some deficiencies that may come up because they didn't get it when they were younger and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I get that. I
Absolutely.
get that.
My, my,
That's really good.
my father used to do this with me from time to time. He would give me something to do or something to go and find. And I'd be
Hmm.
like, okay, Daddy, where do I find it? How do I find it? And he'd be like, hey, figure it out.
Boy, that was those words back in the
Yeah,
day. Figure it
figure it
out.
out. Yes, yes. And what he was doing, when I was younger, sometimes it would be a little confusing to me. But what he was doing, he was teaching me to be a problem solver. He was
Hmm.
teaching me to be resourceful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
And I think at the end of the day, if you don't get that lesson early, you struggle a little bit coming out the blocks as an adult because it's like somebody always gave me the answers. I didn't have to
correct,
figure out anything before.
correct,
Now what do I do? And if you have access to somebody to ask, that's helpful.
mhm,
But what if you don't have that?
correct.
Some people, lose contact with their parents as they're getting older.
Hmm.
Some people may lose a parent, like they may pass away or stuff like that. And now they may feel like I got to figure this out on my own.
Hmm.
And I've never had to do that.
Right.
And I do remember even going back into my childhood, there were just times I was told, figure it out.
Yeah.
And it was used to be some of the scariest times.
Hmm.
And it ended up being part of my superpower now, where it's like I'm cool with figuring it out because I've been doing this for a while.
Correct.
And I think if I get into right information, I know where to at least look next to get
Correct.
to that solution.
And that's a key thing you said, getting all the right information. I mean, and that's in any situation.
Hmm.
Whether it's even in the conflict, gather your information first,
Yeah,
and then you make your moves and your choices from there. So that's very critical.
gotcha, man. That's good, bro. That's good. All right, so how can youth sports instill perseverance, even when life gets hard, mirroring biblical principles like James 1 and 12 about enduring trials?
Well, again, I go to problem solving. When you sports is a representation of life. I know that is
Sure.
so cliche, but it is true. You know, in sports, you're going to have your good days, your bad days. You're going to have your challenging teams that you play against, or your challenging practices, or your challenging events, and then you're going
Hmm.
to have your great one. You got to be good mentally on the good days
Yeah,
and also on the bad days.
yeah,
I tell my players right now, you know, it's great to celebrate when we're hitting 3-pointers and making
hmm,
all these dazzling plays.
yeah,
But guess what? Your teammate needs you when they're not playing well.
hmm,
Your teammate needs you when they're not feeling well, or
right,
or, or when they're injured and they're not playing right now. You need to be celebrating that person the same way you would if they were in the game with you. So
yeah,
so it teaches, playing sports, like I say, is a representation of life. We need one another, and it's good to have one another.
yeah,
Definitely in our ups, but most especially when we're in our down times, or when times things are not going right, or maybe you did something really bad that's
hmm,
embarrassing. But guess what? You still need a friend. You still need somebody to support you,
yeah,
because I saw something today, said something that we're all better than our worst event that we ever did or had.
I like that,
You know
man.
what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
that's so true. So when we fall short, or we, are not as good, we need someone there to be that same friend for us or that same support system for us that we are when we're glowing and everybody sees us and we're getting, the attention.